What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Want to thank my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description. You also know I'm a Weeble preferred influencer. Best promotion in the pinned comment. You've got a holiday weekend upcoming. All you need to do, click the link, go open an account, deposit any amount of money. They are going to give you free fractional shares. And also a special thank you to Alfred for playing this game. Not many people are doing that these days. Sending me over this clip, and I gotta say, when I saw this, it really does show two things. Number one, animations mean more than anything. And number two, the game doesn't have enough animations. And it really is kind of a double-edged sword when you think about gameplay, where you are supposed to have control of an NFL player, you're supposed to have simulation football with freedom of movement, and when you see things like this, it assures you that they're just not there. We're going to watch this at speed, and then I'm going to go and break down exactly what happens here and why this is a big deal. So we're going to zoom in, and I just want you to first notice these players. You've got one player looking away from the ball carrier. You've got another player that's in a position to be able to make a play, but he doesn't. And actually right here, you can see both of these players have a clear field of vision to the ball carrier. But animations, or lack of animations, prevents them from actually doing anything. What's interesting is they actually run together and collide. But when they collide, there is no animation for them to actually have a tackle. So instead you get this. And we're not even respecting physics, given this position. To me, that's the biggest thing. If you don't want to have enough animations in the game, fine, but this goes on to be a touchdown. You know, can you have a game like this? Absolutely. I mean, look at Madden. But should you have a game like this? Not if you're going to sell simulation football. I mean, when you have players that stand still and don't do anything to interact with the ball carrier, when you have players that then, when inadvertently get bumped into, don't have animations that interact with the ball carrier, there's no way that I think you can call yourself simulation in any aspect. Because what we're not replicating is what's happening on a football field, which is players that understand the rules of the game, the objective of the game, and have the ability to tackle another player. Instead, you just get two really just ragdoll physics bodies that run together in the hopes that when they collide, one player is going to fall down. And when they don't, you're going to have no way of preventing a touchdown because you've only got 11 people on defense. When two of them are standing still, when three of them don't even make a movement to tackle the ball carrier, how on earth are you going to game plan for that from a defensive standpoint? How on earth are you as a user going to go in and make anything that's going to change the outcome of that play? One of the great things about sports in general is the fact that you should be able to be humbled by a loss and then go out and better yourself from that. You should be able to have adversity in a sport, be able to look back and reflect, learn, not just, from a gameplay standpoint, right? Not just from this is how this team beat me. This is how this player beat me. You should be able to go back and look mentally and emotionally at the outcome of a play and grow as a person. That's what makes sports great. When they talk about any given Sunday, they're talking about the ability for any team to beat any team. When you look at the current landscape in the NFL, right? I'll focus on the Colts just because everyone knows that's my favorite team. Unfortunately, we're now to a point where one of the greatest memories I have is watching the Colts win the Super Bowl in 2006. We've now lost two players from that team. We've lost one coach from that team. It's amazing that game doesn't seem all that far away. But that game was a culmination of Peyton Manning learning from a lot of disappointments, learning from a lot of losses, going back and game planning, becoming a better player, working with Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, Dallas Clark. That game epitomized a true game changer in Bob Sanders coming on the field to go out and make an impact on a game. In my opinion, that impact was always taking Cedric Benson, rest in peace, Cedric, a great running back who we've also lost in all of this, out of the game plan, which very likely, had he stayed in, would have dramatically changed the ground game that the Bears would have had, probably put the game in Rex Grossman's hands a lot less, and more than likely, I could easily say, led to the Colts losing yet another Super Bowl. That's why we watch sports. That's what we want to see. Years later, when the Colts are about to play the Patriots at 9:30 in the morning in London, those teams are fundamentally different than where the Colts and the Patriots were in 2006, when the Colts were just overcoming a dynasty in the Patriots to get to the Super Bowl, because they had turned us back countless times. So now when you look at teams that are quarterbacks removed from Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, when you look at a Bears team that's in a very different place as well, that's why we watch sports, because teams grow and adapt, not just play to play, not just season to season, but in all fairness, we look at generations of great players. As a Colts fan, I thought Andrew Luck was going to provide a generation of great play. Unfortunately, things didn't work out that way. Just like if you're a Bears fan, you might think that you were going to get generational greatness from a player like Cade McCown, a player like Justin Fields. Probably not Rex Grossman, but I digress. All of those things are not captured in Madden. And that's the real tragedy here. We can sit and we can look at broken plays all day long, real life and video games. But the reality is, you can only look at a broken play so often in real life before players get cut, coaches get fired, rebuilds happen. The reality is we've watched all of those same aspects in Madden, but we haven't seen those dramatic changes the way a team would. If EA Sports and the Madden team was a real football team, I want you to honestly think about, how would they perform on the field? How would they improve from year to year? How would they fare against a division rival? Much less 31 different rivals. To me, the answer is pretty clear. The game is awful. The people that build it defend it in its awfulness. And the reality is they're not making progress because they don't want to. They don't see a reason to. All the reason that your favorite football player, favorite football team strives to get better year in and year out, unless you're a fan of like the Oakland A's and your management is awful, and even then your players still try. Trevor May, great example of that, coming out and just absolutely degrading their ownership and praising their fans for sticking through a team that clearly isn't being supported proper. But it just, again, goes to show that in every walk of sports, you have effort, passion, trying. We don't see that from this game. And there's not going to be one play that embodies it or encapsulates it, but there is a legacy of Madden 20, Madden 21, Madden 22, Madden 23, Madden 24. Who knows what they're going to do with Madden 25? To be honest, just re-release the game, upgrade the graphics, and see if anybody notices. At this point, I just don't know that they would. I know I went on a bit of a tangent at the end of this, but honestly, reflecting back and seeing another Colts player be lost from that team, it just seems like so few years have passed. We're also in our community coming up on the 1 year mark of not having Uche in our community, and I guess all of those things just kind of came together. And if you set aside gaming and you look at life, there have been so many years of people's lives lost with a bad football game. And I know that to some people that's a very simplistic thing to say. Who cares, right? It's a football game. But the reality is, in this community, we've seen that game can make lifelong friendships, can create tons of amazing memories. I still remember loading up those incredibly expensive, probably the worst thing Sony ever did was their little memory card racket, going to a friend's house, putting in my team, my playbook, and playing Madden. Those memories, some of them have been lost due to technology, but none of them exist because the game is just so bad. And we know we've lost more than just creators in the space, but members in the space, people in the space that never got to see a quality football game during their lifetime because EA continues to monopolize its incredibly poor product in line with the NFL. And hopefully someday we can look back and say, well, yeah, we went through a dark period, but times are getting better and we're going to see better games in the future. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you watching it. Hope you enjoy your weekend and the holiday. Pay respect to those over the weekend as well. I will be back in the week with more commentary.